Is this
more?
a crypto? Do I look like I know what a crypto is?
Now, there's the story that I wanted to bring is outdated now. It is from CoinDesk.com here, and at the very least, the headline for this one is Binance, which is one of the biggest exchanges out there, crypto exchanges, is strongly leaning toward scrapping FTX rescue takeover after first glance at books. Source. So to catch everybody up, in case you haven't been paying attention in the crypto world, it does spill over everything else that we talk about. But we've covered Sam Bankman-Fried. Remember our fellow pal. This is, for those watching, this is Ali's rendition of Sam Bankman-Fried. Of course, they found a guy named Sam Bankman to be sort of the mainstream version of their crypto king, in America kind of thing.
The fight against the banks is led by a man named Bankman.
Yes. And he, just to run off a couple things that he's been involved in the last year or so, FTX, which is his crypto exchange company, has exploded onto the scene. They bought an arena in Miami, or the naming rights anyway, the FTX arena. You watch professional baseball, MLB, you see the FTX on umpires. Yeah, it's a big deal. And in the last year, we've seen Sam Bankman-Fried join the philanthropy group that Bill Gates is involved in. I'm going to give away all my wealth. Well, he did that. Let me get to that in a moment. He also proposed change to agricultural trade. He went to some Northwest, some kind of meeting where he was like, hey, I can get you guys to trade your goods, in agriculture, like 24/7. And that kind of freaked out the farmers. And they were like, well, so overnight while we sleep, the price of our goods can be demolished. Like, no, we don't want that. He also has his hedge fund, or alleged hedge fund, Alameda Research, which looked like it was, we even said when the Celsius, another exchange that went down earlier this year, when that went down, we said that FTX was involved, but apparently they were involved with a lot more. Now, Ali also drew this image here that I'm showing on screen. Brett Harrison, who was the CEO of FTX, he stepped down, I think it was about a month ago. So there was already a little bit of some cracks. But okay, so here's what's happened.
Which kind of follows the pattern we saw with Celsius too.
Celsius,
once
Luna.
You start seeing these guys, once you start seeing people step down, it's a real clue that something is going on.
It didn't help that CoinDesk also reported most of FTX's legal and compliance team quit. It's never good. Never good when your entire legal and compliance team is like, yeah, sorry, buddy. Sorry, Sam. Can't go up to bat for you. We're done. We quit. Wow. Something really bad must have happened. He must have been doing something very, very bad. And so what had happened was FTX is insolvent. So anybody who had money on FTX, same thing. They froze all withdrawals. There was a bank run the last couple days, people trying to pull their crypto out of FTX. Bold TV reported how FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried lost $14.6 billion overnight. Can you imagine, Basil? You're looking at your portfolio there. You're feeling pretty good about yourself. You're like, hey, check this out.
You're talking about my 15 billion.
Yeah, look at me. I'm worth 16 billion. It's a little bit down from before, but hey, I'm still on the Bloomberg Billionaire Index. I'm in there in the top 100 or top whatever. And then overnight, you go from, being worth 16 billion to under $1 billion. You are no longer part of the billionaire class.
$1 billion.
I know, right?
Oh no.
I know. For most of us, it's like, okay, yeah, all right, get over yourself.
How could I survive with just $1 billion?
But it is startling to lose that much money, or at least that much value, in a span of a day or two. I mean, that is crazy.
Yeah.
So basically, what had happened was Sam Bankman-Fried, or alleged, we don't know yet, but so what we're hearing out there is that Alameda Research, this is hedge fund, investment firm, whatever, they had all these people invest money, these rich people invest money with Alameda Research with crypto stuff, right? And then they buy all the crypto stuff. They open the exchange. They got all the marketing. All the stuff is happening. And the investors are making money, but we went into kind of a bear market this last year. Crypto crashed. The whole economy's crashing. The Fed raising rates. That's where the tie-in is. They reversed course last year. Actually, I think yesterday was the exact year from the Bitcoin top of the market in the last cycle. But so there, everything's going down. Now these investors are like, okay, well, we want our money. Like what happened to our money? So Alameda Research allegedly was using customer funds. Now that they opened FTX, all these normies like you and I, Basil, no normies in the economic sense. We're not illegal lizard billionaires. These retail folks started investing their money on the platform, keep holding their money on the platform, earning interest, all that stuff. And so there's a big pool of money there. What they started doing allegedly was take that money, the customer's money, to pay back the investors who were like, hey, give us our money back. And so to make these investors whole, WHOLE, they created a hole in the balance sheet, an HOLE hole in the retail sheet. And so they're insolvent. They don't have enough crypto to pay everybody back. Same story. And the biggest exchange in the world, Binance, which is led by a guy named CZ. They call him CZ. I think his name is, what was his full name? Shenzhen. I forget. But everybody knows him as CZ. He came in and said, hey, all right, the fall of FTX is not good for the entire crypto industry. Let me step in to buy FTX. So he came out and said, here, we're going to take a look at it. We're going to do our due diligence. And, if all is good, then we will buy it. Well, it was just breaking, as you were, reporting on the Fed thing a moment ago, that CZ has stepped away from the deal. He tweeted out something to the effect of like, I tried, I'm sorry. Sam Bankman-Fried is filing for bankruptcy. He personally owes $650 million. So there goes most of his $900 million. If he still even has that, I don't know how he's going to liquidate that to and pay back the people he needs to pay back. And people like BitBoy Crypto out there are claiming that Sam Bankman-Fried is being arrested. He's going to be arrested in the next 2-3 weeks, whatever. For pretty serious business, for some serious crimes. And so I think, going back to your article with from The Intercept, talking about human sacrifice and putting somebody on the altar, to benefit the rest. I think Sam Bankman-Fried, the experiment into crypto did not work, so to speak, because part of the reason why there was this big pushback was because Sam Bankman-Fried started to promote regulations into the crypto space that would destroy some of the basic principles of decentralized finance and stuff like that. It would ruin that open free access that we have now with crypto. And he was being very buddy with Chuck Schumer. Not a secret. He was, having meetings with Chuck Schumer, and, Chuck Schumer doesn't know what's going on in the world of crypto. You know what I mean? So he was getting advice from a guy that doesn't even have a bit license in New York, which is where, Schumer is. So anyway, point being, I think they just said, okay, you know what? This crypto iteration that we tried to do with FTX, not going to work. The entire thing is being torn down. And this is part of the problem with all these crypto companies. And Basil, you and anybody could have done this, but the problem is that any company, anything that's doing crypto stuff, they can basically print their own crypto. And then on the balance sheet, they can say like, oh, hey, look at our net our worth, our value is so huge because look at our Canary Cry coin is doing so well, or, whatever. The problem with that is there's nobody that's really buying those coins. There's not actual value. It's just perceived. And so it can lose value very quickly, especially if you're insolvent. If there's a liquidation issue or a liquidity issue on the platform, then people start selling. Yeah, I mean, it's basically a fiat use of a cryptocurrency. They sort of create their own fiat to inflate their value. Right. And so what's crazy is that these crypto exchanges and stuff, the Sam Bankman-Frieds, what they implemented is the exact same thing the Federal Reserve does to us. They print the money, they lend it out, they leverage it all over the place. The difference is they're too big to fail. But these little guys, the crypto thing
has the ability. Yeah.
The crypto
they're
world
not sitting on the throne. You got to sit on the throne to be able to manipulate things.
Yes,
in that way.
And I think Sam Bankman-Fried knew that this was coming because in the recent weeks, he gave millions of dollars to the Democrats, and then he promised $1 billion to the Democrats a few months ago, and then a few weeks ago he was like, "Yeah, no, I'm probably not going to give that much." And it's like, "Yeah, buddy, because you're not going to have that much. You're going to have to." Maybe go to jail. We'll see. But he is a New World Order character that we've been tracking. So the perk walk might happen, Basil.
It's interesting. It's almost like in a way, he committed the same sort of human sacrifice that the Fed does.
Yes.
He sacrificed the people. Economic life of his customers,
yes.
The retail investors, in order to make the investors whole, the investors being the big money guys.
Yeah.
So, sacrifice the little guys to give life to the big guys. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like the government coming in being like, hey, we're the ones who can make the sacrifices around here. Okay.
Yeah.
That human sacrifice you did, that's our ritual. We do that all the time, but we're allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. You're some sort of dilettante who's just, your sacrifice is murder. Our sacrifice is, to please the god of money or whatever. So it kind of, again, it, at least in sort of the developing worldview that I've had on this economic stuff, it's that battle of the magicians. Mm-hmm. And, the temple that is the Fed or the government does not like other people getting in on their human sacrifice ritual.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting.
Well, part of it too is, but I think that's what's strange is that it's being called out. Because he easily could have been protected under the wing of the king, so to speak, and just given immunity, given an amnesty. But could have been, that didn't happen, and so. That's what's interesting,
because these things require blood. That's the point. There is a requirement for blood to be spilled in this case, and it's going to be his. And
this also is great for regulations. Oh, look at all these issues, all these people, lives destroyed. The government must come in to regulate this space. Otherwise, it's just a wild, wild west, and it's chaos. And look at all these people losing money. When really, I think it's the same people doing the same old tricks, really. Yeah. We'll have to see what happens. But this is, I think it's a pretty big story, because I don't think, and I know there are some listeners who don't like the crypto stuff, but it's going to become, and I've already mentioned it in the past few episodes, more and more of a political issue. I don't think a candidate can finish the decade, these 2020s, completely ignoring crypto. It's going to be part of the conversation because it's economics.
You got to have a stance.
Yeah.